welcome to another Tips from the Mustard Seed. Today I'm going to be talking about my favourite plugin, which is Trackspacer by Waves. And you've probably heard of ducking or sidechain compression, which is when you use the incoming signal of one instrument to reduce the level of another instrument temporarily, only when the other one is playing, so that it briefly gets out of the way and allows the other one to pop through. So it allows you to sort of prioritise which instrument you want to hear if they're clashing. Now, Trackspacer does that, but it's EQ. It's done by EQ, so it's frequency specific. So instead of reducing the whole level of the signal of the instrument, you reduce the parts where the incoming signal is playing. So if the incoming signal is a kick drum, whatever you apply that to will only reduce the frequencies in the range of the kick drum, which I find useful because it's less. If the instrument that it is on has got like a lot of top end and the incoming signal is just bottom end, the top end would still be there. It would just take away the bit that needs to be taken away. So I've used it on this song, If You Never Try, Part 2. We recorded this to a tambourine loop, which is not like the greatest loop you ever heard, but it was nicer than playing to the computer click. So it's this. Where is it? I think I've turned it up a bit just for the purposes of this, but yeah. And when we came to do the mix, if you take it out, it feels like there's something missing in the track. So it's nice to keep it in there. It kind of glues things together. But to get it to sit in the mix, like to me, it's the lowest priority thing on the whole track. It was something that's there to keep us in time, and it adds like a bit of top end and a bit of glue to just kind of pull everything together. But it's the least important thing, so I don't want it to be up front. So using Trackspacer, whenever something else is playing, you can get it to reduce the frequencies of the tambourine in that range. So this is quite a crude way of doing things. If anyone wants to tell me off, they can do. But so what I do is create a subgroup of the whole track except for the tambourine. So you see here I've got something called Everything Else. And if I close that, you can see that everything... You got the tambourine, and you got the rest of the track. So everything is playing. So just reduce it to two things: tambourine, rest of the track. Then we send the rest of the track to the tambourine channel. You send it on a different audio channel, so you don't actually hear it. It's just used in the effect. So I've got it on channel 7 and 8 there. So this gets sent to Trackspacer, and the graphic makes it really easy to understand. So I'll show you now. If you play this, so the top line is the incoming signal. It shows you what it is, and the bottom line is that those incoming frequencies being taken away from the tambourine. So you can see it's not taking anything away at the top. So the very top end of the top, because nothing else is playing at the top. So the very top end of the tambourine will still be there all the time, which is why I like it, because if the whole level was being reduced, that top end wouldn't be constant. You just hear it coming in and out. But with this, it's just taking away the bits you need to be taken away. And when there's gaps in the... So you'll see the level change every time the kick drum plays, for example. And then, if the lead vocal wasn't there, the tambourine can come through here. But when the lead vocal starts, the tambourine's gonna back off. So it's always just in the background, and it'll just poke through in between. And this, I like the way it's laid out as well. A lot of plugins have got all these kind of like fancy designs and stuff, but this is just like gloriously simple. So you just got a percentage here of how much you want to apply it to. So I've only got it on something low, like 7%. But if you turn it up, you'll gradually hear more and more of the tambourine disappearing in relation to what's coming in. So I can do that as an example. So this is the tambourine on 7%. The more you turn it up, the more of it disappears in relation to what is coming in. And you end up with just like, when you get up to 100%, you're just hearing a little bit of like the top of the tambourine because nothing else is playing in that register anyway. So that's always kind of going to be there. And then you reduce it and it comes back to whatever degree you want. And another good thing about it is you can control where you want it to apply. So if you want the bottom end not to be affected by this, you can make a cut here, and then it wouldn't take away any bottom end, or vice versa. You could, if you want to keep all the top end of the tambourine, you could do this, and then it wouldn't take away any of the top end. So yeah, it's gloriously simple. It's really useful. I always have like one or two instances in the track, especially like the kick drum and the bass guitar when they're playing in the same space. I use it on the bass, so it will briefly get out of the way when the kick's playing. Where is it? Here we go. Yes, you can see this here. That's the kick playing there. I've still got it turned down here. Yeah. So yeah, you can just use it to like. I see it as a way of like prioritizing things. The one that you want to be the priority, you can make it come through, and the one that you want to take a back seat, can take a back seat. The way I normally use it, it's sort of the opposite of this. I create two tracks of. I'd have the whole track here, and this would be the lead vocal. And you can send the lead vocal to the rest of the track, so that whenever the lead vocal is present, other things get out of the way to a certain degree, and that allows the lead vocal to like sit in the mix rather than sort of sitting on top of the mix. So that like if the lead vocal's stuck in the gaps between the singing, other things can come back through. And if you just use a small amount of it, it's subtle and you won't really notice it, but it just helps like glue things together. So yeah, that's it. That's Trackspacer. And if you've got any other ways of using it, or you've got a favourite plugin you think people should know about, please leave a comment. And yeah, thanks. I'll see you next time.